Oxygen uptake, getting ready for rounds 11 and 12. Glen Johnson with a little bit of a lift after Tarver basically took the 10th off, landing only 10 punches, his lowest connect number since the first round. Now they get ready to go back to grappling with each other. Tarver, the taller, longer boxer, seemed in the early rounds very conscious of trying to score a knockout over Johnson. Somewhere in the middle rounds, Antonio seemed to gather that he wasn't going to knock Glen Johnson out with any one or two good shots. And through most of the late rounds, he has boxed, let his hands go, and scored heavily. But now Glen Johnson is coming back in the fight, and Tarver tries to stop the bleeding with one big left hand.
Yeah, that hurt Glen Johnson, I think.
Yeah, it stepped him back. He went back, but he is tremendously resilient. This is a guy who's been a construction worker to support his career in boxing, and he puts in a full day's work.
What an irony it would be if the two guys who made their reputations by beating the great Roy Jones fought to a draw. Johnson just won't go away, and now he gets a burst of energy and starts to fire combinations again. And Tarver tries to come on and apply some energy himself. Good hard left hand by Tarver. Johnson leans forward and tries to fire a right. Tarver with a counter right as he backs away. Just a little pop. Johnson's punch partially blocked. Tarver missing twice with the left hand in close. Hard right hand by Johnson. It's a close round. Fight is heating up in the 11th. Down. There was no punch contact. Some of the crowd wanted that to be ruled a knockdown, but it wasn't. Hard right hand by Johnson.
Best punch of the fight for Johnson, I think.
Seizing the initiative here in the 11th. Tarver pops him to the left. Johnson walks through it and comes on. The crowd is very excited as they think Glen Johnson has won the 11th round to tighten this fight up.
All right, give me water. All right. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. All right, listen to you. You gotta knock him out, Antonio. Listen to me. Antonio, listen to me. When you're done punching, he's coming right back. You cannot stop. Come on, take a deep breath.
You wanna hold it, Tim. Hold it now. Hold it. You wanna hold it.
You good? Glen, give me the best round of your life. Listen, he's got us on volume. What he's doing is this shit, pity pat. You got a pity pat with him, but put it on him. He can't hit when you
too hard, baby.
When you punch him, he's coming right back.
Hold the ground, baby.
Stand your ground. Glen, get it to me now. The winner of this round.
Here's the drama. After some great work in rounds 7, 8, and 9, Antonio Tarver appeared to think that he had Glen Johnson right in his hip pocket. And he seemed to relax in the 10th. But he may pay as now Johnson has hauled himself out of Tarver's pocket with big rounds in the 10th and the 11th. And maybe the fight is on the table in the 12th.
Yeah, you have to commend both guys. Both guys have fought an excellent fight tonight. They put out a lot of punches. It's been a great fight for the fans. I mean, nobody ducked around or tried to dodge anything. They fought a beautiful fight tonight.
They're going to wind up throwing more than 800 punches apiece, which in a light heavyweight fight is a turn 11. They're both going to land more than 200 punches. They've done well. Johnson reaching with the right hand to the body. Tarver wants to try to get in one or two good straight left hands. Set him up with the jab. There's one. And Johnson grabs and holds.
That looked like it buckled Johnson momentarily.
There's another one. And indeed, Johnson seems Another big left hand for Tarver. Johnson is under the gun now.
Tarver showing another side of himself. He's been the boxer, and he's come out here to brawl, to make sure he wins this fight.
Now, here's the problem for Tarver. When does his energy level run out? And when does Johnson try to come on? Another huge left hand for Tarver. That one really hurt Johnson. But look at Glen Johnson hang in.
And Tarver gonna play possum all day like this. This is his fight. This type of fight he likes to fight. Make it look like he's tired and then throw a big shot and try to catch you. That's how he knocked Eric Harden out the second time.
Johnson's trying to do with the right hand what Tarver's been doing to him with the left. But Antonio scored so heavily in the first minute and a half of the round that he now has the advantage. However, you can see the exhaustion now as Tarver wobbles backward. Unless he's playing possum again.
He's playing possum.
You know these guys.
Yeah, I know him very well. I watch him all the time. He's playing possum. That's how he plays. I mean, he's a little tired, don't get me wrong, but he's mainly playing possum, wobbling back like this.
He wants to gull Johnson into taking another one of those legs.
Right, he wants Johnson to relax and think it's over with and relax so he can land a quick left hand.
Crowd is falling in behind Glen Johnson. They're rooting for him, or so it seems.
Neither of these guys left a thing in the dressing room, in the gym, out of the ropes. They put it all out here tonight. They justified the idea that this was the biggest light heavyweight fight in the world, and it should have been made.
I think Tarver stumbled because Johnson was on his foot.
Yeah, no, Johnson stumbled because he's on Tarver's foot.
A great action fight.
Outstanding.
Both fighters made their statements. Johnson's corner picks him up, and Tarver's corner picks him up too.
You know, historically, unless the light heavyweight division has had a star, it's never been a popular division. And somebody's going to come out of this fight as a fighter the public wants to see again.
Well, you know, as the heavyweight size parameters move up, we see 240 and 250-pound heavyweight fighters. 175 is now the middleweight division.
Pretty much.
Roy Jones, a classic middleweight, spent much of his career in the light heavyweight division because athletes are bigger now.
Yes, they are.
Let's take a look at the three judges who will have to try to choose a winner between Glen Johnson and Antonio Tarver. California veteran Marty Denkin had Klitschko well ahead of Sanders. Everybody else did too. Veteran Chuck Champa out of Vegas. You've seen him many times. One of the most respected judges in the sport. Scored the second Barrera fight, 116-112 over Morales, and Barrera was the official winner of the fight. And Melvina Lathan scored Bird Galata a draw. The fight was a draw because of her scorecard. She's also been involved in a lot of big fights. One from California, one from Nevada, one from New York. What do you think, Roy? Do you think Tarver held on and won the fight?
Yeah, I think he pulled it out. I think he held on. He threw a lot of good jabs. I just thought he fought a good fight, fought a good defensive type fight, and I think he did enough to pull it out.
So you saw Harold Letterman's score, which was 115-113 Tarver. Let's go to Michael Buffer now and officially find out who won the fight.
Ladies and gentlemen, when the winner is announced, he will be recognized by the IBO and fans and pundits around the world as the true light heavyweight champion of the world. We go to the scorecards. Marty Denkin scores it 116-112 for Tarver. Melvina Lathan scores it 115-113 for Johnson. Chuck Champa scores the bout 115-113 to the winner by split decision. He is the Road Warrior Glen Johnson.
Vince convinces the judges with his energy and his commitment that he was the winner in the fight.
Well, you know, what can you say?
The crowd wanted Johnson, and 2 out of 3 judges score the fight for Johnson. Melvina Lathan and Chuck Champa both choosing the Road Warrior, as he is now nicknamed, over Antonio Tarver.
There's a fight I'd love to see again.
It could be a fight that'll take place again after the brilliance we saw here tonight. Final CompuBox numbers. And CompuBox finds Tarver landing 79 more punches than Johnson, throwing 57 more punches than Johnson, and landing at a higher connect percentage. Jabs, Tarver and Johnson landing an equal number. Tarver throwing fewer and landing at a higher percentage. Johnson the more active of the 2 fighters with the jab, as Roy Jones told you he would be. Power punches in the fight. Tarver landing 80 more power shots by CompuBox count than Johnson did. Tarver throwing 126 more power shots and landing at the higher connect percentage by our lights. He also landed the more effective punches, but the judges didn't see it that way. Let's go to Larry Mertz.